Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I need to get ready today. Thought we could do it together. And I'm going to be using products that I have picked up recently. You might have seen them, you might not have. My goal is to make sure I understand kind of what these products are before I do like a full review. I love doing a first impressions, but a review is not. I'm just starting with the L'Oreal Prime Lab 24-hour redness eraser. This is one of those products that I forget that I have because I'm not a primer person. I feel like I need to prime more regularly, but it's one of those things that I frequently forget to do, but when I do it, it makes a really beautiful difference on the skin. So I already have all my skincare on and my SPF. Always wear a dedicated SPF. Don't expect a primer or moisturizer or foundation to do that step for you. Dedicated SPF is always the best. Right now I'm using one from Haru Wonder. It's their Black Rice SPF 50. It's really good. I'm liking it. I'm trying a lot of different SPFs. I probably will come back to my favorites, but I'm kind of cycling through a few things right now to see if I like something better. I hope you're doing well. I have been, it's the end of the school year and I've been busy. I haven't been busy, but my kids have been busy, so busy. I picked up some new BK brushes. This is the Nikki LaRose, the N16. This is her concealer brush. I'm curious to try these. I love the BK brushes. I wasn't sure that every single brush in the set would be something that I would use. I was hoping, and I'm so glad they did, that they start selling them separately. So I've got a couple of those today and some other BK brushes that I'm just super curious to see how they work. One of my favorite brushes for concealer is this one. This is the Angie Hot and Flashy, the A506. It's such a great little brush, but this one's really nice too. Wow, super impressed. I'm going to use the Prada foundation today. I was kind of just trying to decide what foundation should I use, and I think maybe this is a good one for today. I kind of have a bit of a longer day ahead of me, but you know, we'll see how it goes. I like this one with a damp sponge. I feel like it gives a really beautiful finish without looking too heavy. So I was mentioning before, it's almost the end of the school year. My kids are out at the end of May, beginning of June. One of them, the middle schooler, is done like May 29, May 30. And my high schooler is done on like June 2 or June 3. So I am trying to encourage both kids to look for summer jobs. And they had this wonderful idea that they wanted to spend some time with my parents this summer, which I love. But my mom was like, why don't they come for a month? And I was like, how do two kids get summer jobs if they're gone for a month to Ohio? So we haven't discussed that completely yet, but they're probably going to be gone and have to look for jobs when they get back. Just for funsies, I'm going to pull this out. This is the BK Beauty 109. This is like their smaller version of their like really viral foundation brush. I want to see how this does. I like a kind of compact but not too dense brush like this for foundation. I usually use something that tends to look more like this. But this is nice because it has this angle, so I feel like it's gonna fit like in the corners really nicely. Although this is a beautiful brush, I still feel kind of like this foundation looks best with a sponge. So I'll go over it with a sponge in just a minute and press it all in. My mom and dad are coming for a visit, and they're traveling. My mom doesn't like to fly anymore. So she would much rather get in her car and drive from Ohio to Washington State, you know, and that's fine. But it takes a lot longer. So my kids are planning on road tripping back with my folks. They'll be out here for about a week, maybe a week and a half, and then they'll just all drive back together. My kids remember there was one summer years ago. Let's see, my youngest had just finished kindergarten. So I had a 6 and an 8-year-old. And those were the years where my health was not good at all. My mom and dad had come out because our youngest was graduating from kindergarten. They came for kindergarten graduation. and they're like, my mom realized how I was not feeling well and I was really dragging and overwhelmed and couldn't sleep because the kids were little and needed a lot of help. And my husband was working and he works from home now, so it's easier and the kids need less like taking care of and more just general parenting. So my mom was like, hey, why don't Dad and I take the girls home and they can come spend part of the summer with us. They were there for like 6 weeks, had the best time. So my 16-year-old this year was kind of, you know, hi, abuela, what if, would it be okay if Lily and I came to visit you this summer? And my mom was like, best idea ever. And she thought the kids were going to be too busy to, you know, do anything like that. And I love the idea of my kids spending time with my parents. But now that they're getting older, there's a lot of things that they usually do in the summer. It'd be weird to have the house quiet. But for me, it's like summer jobs. My daughter wants to go on a trip with school and they're going to Washington, D.C., but she has to raise like $2,000. And I was like, a summer job, sweetheart. And the other one is looking to buy, going into high school, like a laptop for homework and stuff. And I said, summer job, sweetheart. Like, you know, we'll help them, but I don't want to just go and get them exactly what they want. So I want them to work for it so they'll appreciate it more, they'll take care of it. And I like the idea of setting a goal and having delayed gratification for kids. I haven't used this in forever. This is the setting powder from Pat McGrath. I love this powder. And I feel like it does a really good job of setting my under eyes without looking heavy. There is another powder that is less expensive than this that is amazing. You get more product for a lower price point, but it's harder to come by because it's from Beauty Pie. And it is the Uber Lucent Universal powder. I have gone through like 4 or 5 of these. I'm just about to hit pan. You can see like a little bit of pan here, but they're both really beautiful white powders, finely milled. Both of them are baked. They both have subtle, like the most subtle radiance. So if you're a Beauty Pie member and you've been liking this one here from Pat McGrath Labs, this is almost identical to it except for less expensive, but this one only comes in white, whereas this one comes in multiple tones. Just something to keep in mind. But I wanted to use a dedicated under eye setting powder here because to set the rest of my face. Hello, Natasha Denona. I've really been liking this. So the first time I used this, I was using it for a video. I'll link it for you here in the description box down below. But since then, I've been reaching for it, and it comes with its own like cute little Natasha Denona puff like this. And you know what? I prefer applying it with this. Isn't that funny? I'm probably going to use like a brush in some places, but in places I know where I tend to get a little bit more oily, I'm going to pick some of this up. Press it into the nose. It's very blurring, very blurring. And after I spray my face with a hydrating mist at the end to kind of get everything to kind of come together, it looks beautiful. I've been kind of trying to stay away from new lip products, fail, and new cheek products, fail, as well as new eyeshadow palettes. I feel like I have had so much new stuff come into my collection recently. I've already like purchased over 130 new makeup items or tools this year. And I know we're just at the kind of like the beginning of, well, maybe the first third of May, but you know, what's interesting to me is that I somehow get to the point where I'm like, I don't need any more. And I don't, but it's the curiosity that gets me, the needing to know that makes me end up like, ooh, that's interesting. I feel like I need some color on my face. I feel like I just turned myself into a sheet of paper. So I really have been liking this RMS Beauty Redimension Hydra Bronzer. This is the lightest shade in Beach Walk Betty. This has been one that I like. Now, what I like the most about this is that it's not a flat matte. There are people who only ever want matte products for the cheeks. Because I am getting a little bit older, I can't have like a lot of sparkle and shine, but I do like that with a subtle radiance, which is why I like the powder from Pat McGrath, the one from Beauty Pie. It tends to make my skin look more skin-like, and it's not like I'm using like a highlighting bronzer. That's not what this is. This is just a really beautiful, lightweight, and I like that it's light enough that I feel like I can kind of bronze without caution, and I don't have to worry about like over bronzing. I love that the weather is warming up. So much do I love that the weather is warming up. I've been needing that. This last weekend, my daughter had a school event and got dressed up to go hang out with friends, and they were supposed to be outside and they had to move it inside because it was raining. And it was like 45 degrees. And then by this next weekend, it's supposed to be 90 degrees. It's like a really crazy time of year where I live in the Pacific Northwest because it's not very predictable. This worried me last time I used it, and somebody said that they watched Marsha Kilgore, the founder of Beauty Pie, in one of her live streams on the weekends talking about swirling all of these together. And I see that, but it still worries me. But let's find out, okay? I'm gonna, I'm gonna knock off any excess here and also kind of like bounce it on the back of my hand. The reason I'm doing that is I feel like if I go straight to my cheek, this can be very, very blushy, and I don't want too much of that. I think you still could, if you're reaching for like a little bit more of the rose tone or the highlight, you can go in with a dedicated brush just to that one quadrant. But I feel like this definitely looks a lot better on my skin when I mix it all together. I'm at that point now where I'm just this brush is the one I've been using just to blend product on my face after applying it, because I feel like it's looking just a little bit much. This is the second time I've used this. The first time I used it during that Beauty Pie video, I was overwhelmed. I felt like I got too much color. It was too pigmented. The darkest bronzer shade was overwhelming. That's okay. I feel like it's one of those things we can certainly move past, with just a switch up in application. And that's the thing, is that I feel like if I were just to stick with my initial feeling about this, it's too dark, it's not for someone with my fair skin. I think it works, but it was this dark one here that's really bronzy. And that worried me. It was like, oh, maybe it's an eyeshadow, but nothing else. So here's a product I have been using, and I've been putting in like the links in the description box of products I've used, but I haven't really talked about it yet. This is the Maybelline Build-A-Brow. This is the 2-in-1 Build-A-Brow. I have been a little hesitant to try drugstore markers for brows, but there is something about this one. I was watching somebody on a reel on Instagram talking about how much they loved this product because the tip is so fine. And I don't know, I feel like it's depositing less pigment than the one that I have from Glossier, their Brow Flick, or the brow pen from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I had a hard time with the shades from Milani, like their Weekender brow pen, or the ones from Urban Decay, their brow blade. Like there's a lot, and the one from MAC, oh, the MAC one looked purple in my eyebrows. I was just looking all over the packaging itself. I don't see that there is like not even on the ends of the caps, like a shade name. I think this is medium brown or ash brown. It's kind of like a darker, more brunette color that tends to lean cooler than warmer. But what I have been liking about this is that I can just lightly graze my skin and I don't get a giant like dot of color. I feel like it works really well to lightly feather in areas where I need coverage without looking too harsh and too heavy. This has been a real surprise to me. I have been really loving the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Nano Pencil. That one's great. I do like the one from Benefit, their their detailer brow pencil, like the Precisely My Brow Detailer. That one's good. And this one I know is new-ish, but when I first saw it kind of advertised and saw it on some of the makeup Instagram accounts that tell you what's new, I was like, no, it's a brow pen, no thank you. But you know what, this is probably the one that I would continue to repurchase because it's less expensive than the one from Glossier, which I like. But the problem I have with the Glossier one is that when I touch down with the brush tip to my skin, it deposits like a little blob of color. So either I have to touch it to the back of my hand first and then go in. It's like it's giving too much of the pigment, the liquid pigment at once. And I feel like the difference between, this brow here and the other one, it's significant without being too heavy, too dark. I feel like for my mostly naked eyebrow, it's doing pretty good. There are times that I will use this in tandem with a different brow product, like a pencil and like a fatter pencil, and then I'll use a clear brow gel, and there's one on this end too, to kind of hold everything in place. And then after that dries, I'll see like, oh, I got a gap right here, and I'll use this just to go in and fill that gap. I feel like between this and the nano pencil from CoverGirl is giving the best way for me to fill in those little teeny tiny gaps in my brows without it looking too heavy or too much. Because when I try and do that with some other products, and maybe it's just me, I mean, I'm usually like the one the one factor that's always the same, that's always me. I am not always the best with eyebrows. I want to have like really nice sculpted eyebrows, but they can either get too heavy or they can get the wrong shade or the wrong shape. But I feel like this is so lightweight. It's really, really easy to put in and distribute. So I'm going to use the clear gel on the other side. I feel like the NYX Control Freak does a better job of holding things in place. The Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter does a better job of holding things in place. Here is something I haven't used in a while. This is the Blessed palette from Sydney Grace in collaboration with Mary from Glitzy Fritzy. I really like this palette, and I forget how much I like this palette until I see it. I have been kind of reaching for other things recently, but this has always been a huge hit for me. I'm going to do kind of an easy look today, and I'm going to start right here in this shade Pita. And I'm using one of the BK brushes from the Nikki LaRose collection. This is the N13. This is kind of like her buffing and blending brush. Boy, this is super soft. This is, okay, I have one eye brush, and it's an eyeliner brush, a small detailed eyeliner brush from BK Beauty. Look how teeny tiny it is. I love this brush, but I don't have any other eye brushes. Most of what I have from BK is face brushes, and I really love the quality. I'm glad to be trying more from them. If you're curious, this is interesting. I'll put a link in the description box down below for you. But they're having a sale for Mother's Day right now, and it's 20% off their entire store. And I was like, whoa. This started a while back, like maybe 5 or 6 days ago, because I made an order at 20% off and mine already arrived. So they may not have like a full selection. I always like picking up more when they're on sale. They're worth full price. Don't think that they're not worth full price, but I'm always looking for a bargain. So if you've been wanting to pick up anything, they are having a sale right now. I feel like I need a little bit of warmth, so I'm gonna go right in here into Cinnamon Girl. I'm going to take this little buffing brush here. This is the N12 from that same collection, and do a combination of the cool and the warm mattes here on this. And then just go right under the lash line. I always love like a short brush like this. It's very compact and shorter bristles for lower lash line work or for packing on color. I feel like I could do a really good job with that. Like if I need a little bit more depth right here, you know, packing it on and blending it out with something else. I feel like now I'm gonna just want more of these brushes for the eyes. My favorite are BK Beauty brushes, and those are synthetic if you don't want to use natural hair, and the rougher ones. I have so many beautiful like rougher brushes. I love these. The white goat hair is fabulous. Always enjoy that. But I think it just depends on, you know, tools are an investment. The better your tools, the better your total outcome will be. I feel like Sonia G makes beautiful brushes, Wayne Goss makes beautiful brushes, but they're just a little bit more expensive than rougher. And it depends on what your pocketbook can handle. But I feel like investing in the best quality that you can afford is going to give you the best results. And the ones from BK, and then the ones from rougher, really great, but you know, it all comes down to budget. And so when you can get them at 40% off in the concept store from Rougher, that's when I stock up. I'm picking up this one here called Be a Blessing. I love how shiny these, oh, they're so pretty. So pretty. Just gonna go back to that blending brush and kind of blend it through the crease. I'm not really trying to get it in the crease, but I don't want it, I feel like there are places where it was a little higher and pretty obvious. Just want to soften it up. So I'm picking up a little bit of this shade here. This one's called Irish Heat. It's also, I think, Red Chameleon in the regular lineup. It's a beautiful duochrome that is kind of like a warm base with kind of like a greeny red flip to it. And I'm just gonna pack this on the outside. Before I put on any eyeliner or any mascara, I'm gonna hit the face with some setting, well, it's not really setting mist, it's a hydrating mist. This is from Beauty Pie. This is the Jeju Daily Hydrating Mist. The powder foundation from Natasha Denona that I was using as a setting powder ends up kind of becoming one with everything and not look like it's sitting on top of the skin. I did wear it without using any hydrating mist on it yesterday, and it looked really great after a couple of hours when my natural oil started to come through, but it looked just a little bit drier than I would want it to right off the bat, but it wore beautifully. I like the longevity it has. I like that it's very blurring. I feel like I have better powders for under the eyes, but I really like the new Natasha Denona powder foundation. I just wish it wasn't $55. That's a lot. Here is a product I've been dying to try forever, and I just never got it. And I finally remembered when I was doing some shopping online, and I was like, oh, I've been meaning to try that for years. And it's this. This is the Clarins 3-Dot Eyeliner. This is a liquid liner. And if you're looking at this, look at how it has these 3 little prongs here. This is basically a way to tight line your eyes, and you're not putting it in your waterline. You're not putting it above the lashes. Let me show you how I use it. I put it right in between the lashes themselves where they're coming out of the eye. Normally I would do this because I do have some gaps. I had a not terribly clean eyelash curler. This one here, again, not terribly clean. I'll clean it before I use it. And I used it one time and I pulled out some lashes. So I'm struggling on this side, but something like this is great because I can go in and, you know, put this right at the place where the lashes grow out, give it a little wiggle, deposit some color, and all of a sudden my lashes look fuller. But I feel like the difference from this eye to this eye, it's subtle, but this is the sort of thing that I would want to use on a really light makeup day where I have just a little bit of concealer, a little bit of blush, a really sheer but pretty gloss, something clear in the brows, and this, no mascara, just to make my lashes look a little bit more. I'm just going to add a little bit of the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash mascara on. I really love this so much. I almost picked up another tube of it because I found out that Space NK was having a sale, a 20% off sale. Space NK is a new retailer for Lisa Eldridge. You can get Lisa Eldridge at Liberty, London. You can get Lisa Eldridge at Selfridges, at lisaeldridge.com, of course. I've never seen a here's 15 or 20% off. I don't know if she's going to on her website, but if you're so all the links that I have are usually for places like Space NK or for Selfridges. But if you're ever looking, you click on one of those links and you're like, wait a minute, it's out of stock. Check Lisa's website, but you may not be able to get, you know, a discount there. It's time for me to put on a lip product. I think I'm just going to use the lippy stick from Jones Road. This is the shade Deep Rose. And this, okay. This is one of the easiest lip products I have in my collection. I've been loving this product a lot. I've been reaching for it a lot. It's become like one of my purse lip products. The minute something makes it into my purse, it's because I want to reach for it all the time. First of all, I love this color. This color is sheer. It's just a little bit, not too much. It also has some subtle shine. I don't find that this kind of goes everywhere outside of my lip lines, but also if I do get some of it outside of my lip lines, I don't actually think it looks bad. The other thing that's interesting is I'm surprised how much I like this because instead of having that really cushy, soft, super hydrated and glossy look that I like from the YSL Candy Shine or the Love Shine from YSL, or like maybe even a lip gloss, this is beautiful and it looks like my lips, but a little bit better. This is also just a little bit firmer in texture, but I don't mind that. It does feel a little harder, a little waxier. And I know that sounds bad, but I like the way it looks and feels. I feel like it kind of hangs on a little bit and it's just enough and not too much. I'm really impressed with this. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but now I'm worried I'm gonna want more and I need more lip products, like I need another hole in my head. Thank you so much for watching today. I like that I was able to reach in and use some things that I know that I like that I've had for a minute, and then tell you about some of the things that, you know, are new and intriguing to me that I'm really enjoying. There's quite a few of those. I like this product foundation, but also making sure to use things that are, you know, tried and true. I feel best about my collection that way when I'm not just constantly trying new things, but I'm going back to what really calls to me. I would love to know what products in your makeup collection are the ones that you kind of reach for when you need something you know you can count on, or something new that you're kind of obsessed with and you can't stop reaching for. And for me right now, I'm loving this, as well as the lippy stick. Like, there are things like that in my collection. Or if you have a favorite brush, I know I was talking about BK brushes today and some rougher brushes. I was using just the BK ones today, but tell me what your favorite brush line is and the types and the shapes that you appreciate the most. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I will see you again soon.